it's Krystal Everdeen, and today I want to share with you how I crocheted this heart bucket hat. The materials that you will need for this project include light pink yarn. Mine is size 4 yarn, 100% acrylic, as well as red yarn, also size 4 and 100% acrylic. I'm also using a size 5mm hook, and the first thing that we're going to do is create the heart granny squares. So to make a heart granny square, we're going to start off with red and pretty much do the exact same thing we did for regular granny squares. So we're going to create a slip knot, and then we're going to put our hook through it. Then we're going to chain 4, and after we've chained 4, we're going to go back into the very first chain and create a single crochet from it. Then we're going to find the opening, and once we do, we're going to create 3 double crochets, all going into that one opening. And after we've created 3 double crochets, hold on, this is only my second one, and then 3 double crochets, then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, then we're going to create another 3 double crochets, and that was 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to chain 2 again, 1, 2. Then we're going to create another cluster of 3 double crochets, 2 and 3. And then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and create another cluster of 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to chain 2, 2, and then we're going to slip stitch into the first double crochet that we made for this row, and that's going to complete the very first row of the hearts here. From here, we're going to chain 1, then create a double crochet, but go backwards into this opening right here, and then create the double crochet, because this is going to serve as the last double crochet we need in the end of the row. So from here, we're going to chain 2, reach on over to the next opening, and this is the row where we're making all the corner pieces, remember? So every time you approach every time you're working on the second row of granny squares, every opening that you go into, they're all going to be corner pieces, so just make a bunch of corner pieces. So right now I'm finishing the second half of my corner piece, and then I'm going to chain 2, reach on over to the next opening, and then create my corner piece, which is comprised of 3 double crochets, then a chain 1 in between, then another 3 double crochets, 2 and 3, then chain 2, reach on over to the next opening, and create another corner piece comprised of 3 double crochets, then chain 1 in between, then 3 double crochets, 2, 3, then chain 2, reach on over to the last opening, create 3 double crochets, 3, and then chain 1 in between, then make 2 double crochets, and 2, and then slip stitch into that very first double crochet that you made in this row to serve as the third double crochet for the last corner piece. So this is what the project looks like so far, just 2 rows of like regular granny square. And now this is where it starts to get interesting, because this is when we need to now add the pink in. So after you've created 2 rows with your red yarn of the granny square pattern, you're going to now incorporate the pink yarn. So from here, again, you could start off from here if you want, but I want to actually get a little bit closer, so I'm going to slip stitch one more time over here, and now add my pink yarn. So you could add your new color any way you want, but this is how I add it. I just add it to the hook and then just chain 1 with it, and then crochet as normal. So from here, the start of the third row, I'm going to go into the first opening and create my 3 double crochets inside of that opening, but with my pink yarn. And after I've created 3 double crochets with my pink yarn, I actually need to switch back to the red. So I'm going to just switch on over to the red again, which I did not detach from the yarn ball, which is perfectly fine. And I'm going to actually first chain 2, then add my red yarn, and reach on over to the next opening, which is a corner piece. And I'm going to create a corner piece with the red yarn as opposed to the pink yarn, because this is going to serve as part of the heart. So I'm going to make 3 double crochets followed by chain 1, then another 3 double crochets, again with the red yarn. And this is what it looks like. Kind of looks funky at first. So that's the beginnings of the heart. And then from here, we're going to chain 2 with the red yarn again. Reach on over to the next opening, which is a regular opening. So we're going to create 3 double crochets inside that opening. But then after that, we're going to switch back to the pink and chain 2 with the pink. And then I'm going to reach on over to the next opening, which is a corner piece. So I'm going to go ahead and crochet a corner piece on top of it with the pink yarn. So 3 double crochets followed by a chain 1, then another 3 double crochets. And this is what the project looks like so far. You can kind of see the heart shape a little bit maybe. But yeah, after you've done that, then you're going to switch again to the red. And then we're going to go into this opening right here. So after you've created that corner piece with the pink, you're going to chain 2 also with the pink, but then you're going to switch on over to the red again, and you're going to go into the next opening, which is a regular opening, and you're going to crochet 3 double crochets within that opening with the red yarn. And then you're going to switch on over to the pink again, and you're going to chain 2 with the pink, reach on over to the next opening, which is another corner opening, and you're going to create another corner piece on top of the previous one. Again, 3 double crochets, a chain 1 in between, and then 3 double crochets. And then from here, you're going to switch back to the red, and you're going to actually first chain 2 with the pink, but then you're going to switch over to the red, and you're going to go into the next opening and create 3 double crochets with the red. And then you're going to chain 2 and then create one last corner piece with the red yarn, and this will finish up the heart. So I'm going to make 3 double crochets followed by a chain 1, then another 3 double crochets and 3, and then we're going to switch back to the pink, and we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and then we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch that we made for this row, and that's going to complete this row. And now you could totally see the heart shape, right? Yay! So that's how I make the hearts that's within the granny squares. So now we actually need to make the granny square around it with the pink yarn. And from here on in, again, you're only going to need to use the pink yarn. And it's the same exact steps that you would normally do for a normal granny square. So I feel like I don't really need to tell you because by now it's very repetitive. But yeah, every time you reach over to a normal opening, you're going to create 3 double crochets inside of that opening, and then every time you reach a corner piece like this one, then you're going to create another corner piece comprised of 3 double crochets, and then a chain 1 in between, then another 3 double crochets, and then chain 2 every time you go in between openings. So chain 2, and then this is a regular opening. So then I'm going to fill it with 3 double crochets, then chain 2, and reach on over to the next opening, fill it with 3 double crochets, then chain 2, and then reach on over to the next opening, which is a corner opening or corner piece, and then make another corner piece on top of it comprised of 3 double crochets, a chain 1 in between, and then another 3 double crochets, and then from there you're going to chain 2, 1, 2, reach on over to the next opening, which is a normal opening, then make 3 double crochets, so on and so forth until they're the same size as the other granny squares that we made earlier. And yeah, that's how you make heart granny squares. And after you've made your first heart-shaped granny square, you're going to make a few more. I've already had these from a previous project, so I need to figure out how many I need exactly. I'm thinking that I'm going to need 4 for the brim of the hat that's going to wrap around my head, and then 1 for the middle of my hat. And then for the rest of the hat, we're just going to use the pink yarn to make the... Or maybe that's called the brim and this is called something else. This is the part that's going to be on your head, and then I think the brim is the part that like sticks out, I think. I'm not really sure what the terminology is for hats, but hopefully you see my vision. So I guess we're going to need 5 of these, so create 5 heart granny squares, and then I'll show you how I put everything together. So now that you've created 5 heart granny squares, again, you're going to grab your light pink yarn, and we're going to slip stitch all these granny squares together. So we're going to slip stitch all 4 of these right here, and then this last ones to each other to make a circle. So I'm going to start off with these 2, and I think I would like to actually attach them all when they're upside down or backwards. So wrong sides together, I'm going to bring them together for where I would like for them to be attached to one another, and then I'm going to go through both of the stitches here, and then I'm going to grab my pink yarn, attach it like so, and then go on to the next stitch that I would like for them to be attached to, and then grab my yarn and then slip stitch, go into the next 2 stitches, one from one heart granny square and then one into the adjacent other, so that's from one granny square, and then this is into the next one, and then you just slip stitch them together. And then I'm going to reach over to the next stitch and do the exact same thing until I reach the bottom, and that's how I attach granny squares. And again, I'm doing this while they're both facing, so I guess wrong sides up, so the wrong side, like the not pretty side, is facing me. That way when I flip it right side in, or I guess like flip it the other way where the hearts actually look cute, then the stitching will look cute as well, because it'll be kind of hidden. Right here on the back side, you could see that the stitching kind of shows a lot, but once I flip it over, you can't even see it, and it looks way better. But I know there are some people who actually like the way that the stitching looks, so if you like the way that the stitching looks and you want it to protrude from the project, then you could attach them while the right side is facing up. You could totally choose to do that. It's all a style preference. So now that I've reached the bottom here, I'm going to again flip it, and that's what it looks like when they're attached. See, you can't even see the stitching right here as opposed to this side where it sticks out. So yeah, this is definitely not so pretty. It's all the backstage stuff that no one wants to show you. And then this is the part that looks all pretty and cute. So that's how I'm going to attach the granny squares. So I'm just going to detach the yarn from the yarn ball here, and then do the same thing to this one. and then to this one, and then once I've attached them all just straight away, then I'm going to attach the last two, or I guess the first one and then the last one together the exact same way, and it's going to be a circle. But so that I don't bore you with just me slip stitching these granny squares, I'm going to just jump ahead and I will meet you once everything is attached. So I have attached all 4 of them on one side. So here, here, and here. But again, we want to make this a circle, so I also need to take both ends and attach them like so. So I'm again going to make sure that it's wrong side facing up, and I'm just going to fold it over like this, and then slip stitch them together like I did previously. So I'm just going to go into the ends right here for both of them, and then I'm going to attach the yarn and then just continue slip stitching all the way down until they are attached. And then by the time I reach the end, then the project is now going to be a circular project, which is perfect because that's going to be the part that's going to go around your head. And yeah, so I'm just going to slip stitch my way all the way down, and then I will meet you once I am done. Okay, so now I'm at the bottom of the granny squares that I just attached, and I don't think I ever show you how I finish attaching them. I cut the yarn from the yarn ball, and then I bring the excess yarn onto my hook and bring it through the last loop that's left on my hook. Then I give it a tug, and that seals the project, but because I really don't want it to unravel on me, I go ahead and I go into like whatever stitch that's around it, and I put my hook through it, and then I yarn over, I bring it through to make one last loop, and then I bring the excess through that loop once more. So it's kind of like a double knot, just to make sure that it doesn't unravel. But anywho, yeah, so once you have attached everything, it should look something like this, and then when you flip it the other way, it looks like this. It's just a band of granny square hearts, and again, this is going to be the part that sits on your head, and it needs something on the top, right? So what I'm thinking is I'm going to attach this on the top, but now looking at it, it looks kind of small and I don't really know how it's going to work out, but let's go ahead and try it, you know? Let's see how it goes. So essentially I'm going to line it up with all of these granny squares, and I'm just going to attach it so the exact same way. I'm going to flip it inside out and then attach it along all 4 sides, right here, and right here. So let's see if I could show you without being confusing. So I'm letting the project stand up like this. It's like a box, perfect. And then, even though the granny square is smaller, you know what? I wonder if I could just add some more. Maybe I could just add some more rows onto this granny square so I can make it bigger, or I could just stretch it. Maybe I'll just stretch it. Okay, so so it's already inside out, and I shaped it like a little box, and I'm just going to align it where I would like for it to go, and then I'm going to start from right here, and I'm going to attach the yarn right here to this corner the exact same way that I did the rest of them. But instead of cutting the yarn after just one side, I'm going to go all around and attach it. But yeah, that's essentially what I'm going to do. Let's see how it turns out. Hopefully it turns out good. This is the very first hat that I've ever made, or like bucket hat. I've made beanies, like crochet beanies before, but never bucket hats or like any other kinds of hats. So again, hopefully this works out. It's my first time doing this, plus it's a little bit different working with granny squares too, so yeah. But essentially I am attaching it the exact same way that I was attaching the other granny squares to one another, and again this time I'm just going to go around in, I was going to say a circle, but it's actually a square, but essentially yeah, a circle and make sure that everything is aligned. So is this still the bottom? Yep, right here, attaching this to this part, and then I'm going to, once I reach right here, I'm just going to continue on and attach it right here, And then once I am done with this point, I'm going to continue on and attach it right here, and then finally right here till I reach where I started. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and meet you back when I am done attaching it. See how it looks. So now that I've attached the granny square on the top, this is what it looks like. Again, I just attached it on all sides, and now you're left with like a little box. And it looks crazy because, again, it's inside out, but once you turn it right side in, oh, it's so cute. And I am pretty confident that it's going to turn out pretty good. It kind of looks like a bucket hat already, right? I feel like it does. So now all we need is the brim. Again, I don't even know if that's what it's called. I just think that's what it's called. But the part that sticks out of the bucket hat, or you could leave it like this if you like the way that this looks without the without the little flare part of the hat. But basically what I'm going to do for that part is I'm just going to use pink yarn, and I'm just going to single crochet, maybe double crochet all around the hat here. So I don't know where to begin really. Pick what side you want the back to be. I guess this is going to be the back since the heart is facing this way. So I'm just going to attach it to like this side right here. So I'm going to attach it right here. But I think I changed my mind again, and I think instead of doing a double crochet, I'm just going to do single crochet. So I'm just going to attach my yarn right here, and then I'm going to grab the excess yarn as well as the yarn that's attached to the yarn ball and put them both on my hook when I go into the next stitch, like so, and then both of them again when I'm completing the single crochet until the excess yarn runs out, and then I just use the regular yarn that's attached to the yarn ball for the rest of the project. And the reason I decided to go with a single crochet instead of a double crochet is because a double crochet is a little bit more flimsier than a single crochet, and a single crochet will be more stiff, which is the kind of stitch we want in order for it to actually have a chance of like standing up as opposed to flopping down. If you want a floppier hat, then you could totally use a double crochet, and I think that that'll be floppy, but for this, I'm going with a single crochet. So I'm just going to go all around the project, and I'll check in with you after I complete my first round, or my first row of single crochet. Okay, so I've completed my first row of single crochet all along the bottom of the hat right here. And this is what it looks like not much different than how it looked like before because it's only one row of single crochet. But I'm just going to continue building and building and building on top of it until it's about like this big. What, like 3 inches? 2 inches? 2.5 inches? And hopefully it actually flares out and it doesn't just droop down, because then I will need to figure out what to do, but we'll see. My plan is just to kind of force it to flare out. So in the single crochet stitching, there's 2 little openings, right? So I'm planning on going into only the one that's sticking outward, like so. So instead of going into both of these, this little V, normally you go in through like this and then you complete the stitch, but I'm only going to go in through this one right here and then complete the stitch, hoping that it will make it so that it goes outward, you know? Does that make sense? I'm totally making this up, by the way. I don't know if this is an actual thing or if it will work, but we'll see. We shall see. So I'm just going to continue making rows of single crochet, but in that manner, hoping that it will make the rows of single crochet flare out. That way it could look more like a hat instead of these stitches just going straight down like the rest of the hat. But yeah, we shall see. And again, I'm just going to go all around the hat here. Oh yeah, these are just some extra granny squares that I had left lying around. But anyway, so I'm just going to continue going around and around, and once I am done creating multiple rows of single crochet, then I will get back to you. So I'll see you in a bit. So now that I've completed a number of rows of single crochet, I don't think that those couple of rows that I did where I just like went into this part of the single crochet really did anything, because it looks pretty much the same. And all I do is I kind of just like fold it myself, and then if it doesn't want to stick up, then I would suggest maybe ironing it so that it sticks out and it doesn't just go straight down. But yeah, this is what the hat looks like so far. I think it looks really good actually. But yeah, so I tried it on and I like the way that this looks. I think it's plenty long enough. So I'm just going to stop right here. Normally I think this part of bucket hats are longer, but because this portion is longer than like the other bucket hats that I have, oh, you know what, I'm just going to compare them and show them to you. See, like this is a bucket hat that I have, and this part is way shorter than the one that we made, but that's okay, because to compensate for that, we're just going to make this part shorter, and you see how wide this is. But regardless, I think it looks cute. Definitely not the same kind of fit as this one, but still really cute. So now that I am happy with the size of this part of the hat, I'm going to complete my last single crochet towards the back of the hat, and then I'm going to detach the yarn from the yarn ball, and then I'm going to bring the excess yarn through the last loop, and then I'm going to go into the next stitch, bring the excess yarn into the next stitch, and then seal it off like I previously did. And then I'm just going to continue tucking it in until you can't really see it anymore. And then make sure that it goes into the back, so now you can't see it at all. And I have just completed my very first crochet bucket hat. Woo! Yay! Rah! Yay! Cheers! And I think again it looks super cute. I'm actually quite proud of it. Look how adorable that is. And I hope that you enjoy your crochet heart bucket hat as well. I think it was actually really easy to make. I'm pretty surprised. So now you could go ahead and make regular granny square bucket hats, or heart-shaped granny square bucket hats, or like flowered granny square bucket hats. Just all the bucket hats that you could ever dream of, you can make them, and this is how. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, found it interesting, entertaining, or helpful, please give a big thumbs up before you go, and don't forget to click that red subscribe button if you have not already, so I can see you next time. Bye, and have a magical day.